is feminism? I think it's kind of complicated actually, and I think it has a lot of different individual meanings that people have assigned to it. I think that depending on where you're from, what political or religious affiliations you have will completely change your view of feminism. I think that also your age and what you've been through and the history you've experienced also will have an effect on how you see feminism. But I think that ultimately you can see feminism in three main ways. You can view it as being a sort of a philosophical moral ideology. You can see it as a political standpoint, or you could see it ultimately as a lifestyle, something you devote your life to. I'd say that probably 99% of women and even most of men would agree with feminism in its basic definitions, just simply thinking that men and women should be equal and have equal rights and respect. Although most people probably agree with this, I think that many fewer people and women would be willing to identify themselves as a feminist because feminism has come to have some negative stigma attached to it. Less people seem to adopt feminism as a main political agenda because it's a little more extreme. Sure, women would love for there to be a female president or more female representation in Congress, but I think a lot of women just aren't willing to get involved in the political arena and lobby and vote and get their voice out. I think a lot of women are just content with the progress that has been made in the women's right movement, even though that was in the 1970s, 30 years ago. And although there's still discontent in social problems that exist with sexism, like the glass ceiling effect, most people just aren't willing to stir the waters. They accept that progress has been made and they think that nothing else can be done because we've come so far. But I'd say that the third view of feminism is probably what most people consider to be kind of extreme and intimidating and alarming, and that is that feminism is a lifestyle. I would say that a feminist is someone who is actively fighting for the equality of women on a day-to-day basis. They see sexism out in the world, they point it out, they fight it, and they try and prevent it. Scholars who write articles and books, and teachers and researchers who do studies on sexism and report these findings and see that sexism still does exist and needs to be addressed. I think that unfortunately a lot of people have a negative view of what a feminist is in this aspect, that they've devoted their lives to it, and they have these stereotypical ideas that have been expounded by the media in the 1970s with pictures of women burning their bras. So they expect a feminist to be this man-hating woman who thinks that men are all chauvinist pigs and they don't want to shave their legs and they don't want to stay at home with the kids and they want to go out and fight the man, stick it to the man. And I think this is not what feminism is at all. And I think that once people become more educated and they realize that they actually do agree with a lot, if not all, of the principles of feminism, they will adopt these views. And I see that more people coming to feminism and agreeing with it, they can have more changes. And ultimately, feminism really benefits everyone.